Welcome to the Arsenal Present. How are we doing today? I hope you had a wonderful Tuesday. Yes, I'm recording this at a little bit before 9 o'clock in the evening. Like I said, I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Before we proceed into the nitty gritty of today's content, let's do the needful. Please strike a like on the video. Please subscribe, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell. Let me repeat for those at the back who didn't get me the first time. I'm going to repeat slowly. Like the video, subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notification bell. Thank you very much. Now let's start. According to reports, Fulham Palace and Wolves showing interest in Nketiah. That's how you get money for a player. Interest if there's one buyer, Arsenal won't sell. Arsenal want to sell, the player wants to leave, and the fee will never be high, regardless of what we think the player is worth. Now, according to reports, right? Maybe I put on the wrong slide. There are teams interested in Nketiah. For me, Nketiah is not of Arsenal level anymore. I understand 2 years ago, I was one of the guys that said, let's show him a bit of support. Let's see whether he can evolve to the next level. I think I've seen enough. I think I've seen enough. Some of you called it earlier. Yes, you guys called it. Nketiah is not Arsenal level. It's time to move on. He cannot call it as Arsenal. He's not a bad player, but for where Arsenal is trying to head to, win the league and compete intentionally in the Champions League, Eddie Nketiah for me cannot provide the kind of quality required for the kind of competition we are trying to vie for and win. Not just to compete. We want to win the Premier League, want to win the Champions League, want to win the FA Cup, want to win the Carling Cup. And Nketiah for me does not have the required skill set, abilities at this level. Now, if he goes to a Fulham or a Wolves or a Brighton, he'll score goals there because he's not going to be playing week in, week out against mid-block or low-block defenses. And Nketiah will thrive in a mid-table team. Objectively, I'm not trying to say this so that we can get him off our roster. I'm saying, objectively, Nketiah will thrive in mid-table teams. But for teams that are competing at the higher echelon of the league, I don't think that is for sale. I don't think that is where he can actually showcase himself. He is not of that required level. He's not of that standard, but you take a little bit lower to the mid-table teams, he can actually flourish, in my humble opinion. And hopefully this summer has actually started. Hopefully we can recoup our investment, even though he's homegrown, even though he's the product of our academy. Hopefully we can get maximum profit from him. He's still young. He's still English international of some sort. So we can still get at least 30 million pounds for him because he's still a young player. He's still useful. The fact that he didn't cut that doesn't mean he won't cut it elsewhere. Let's not conflict those two. He's still a very good player that can actually do very well in a mid-table team. So hopefully we can fetch the required interest and fetch the required money on Eddie Nketiah. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think it's time we sell him, or some of you still want to still have some hope in Nketiah? Let me know, because for me, objectively, let's cut out the shenanigans. Let's cut out the sentimentality and attachment, the fact that he came from our academy, and be objective. Eddie Nketiah is not that player that can take us next level. We've seen enough. There's enough proof to show that Eddie Nketiah is not that player at the upper echelon that can actually give us the required results and outcomes we were demanding from him. He doesn't match up. But at the mid-table teams, I've seen enough that he can do and actually be a return on investment on whether mid-table club decide to take what would be the right word, to take that chance on him. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, let's move from Eddie Nketiah to Benjamin Sesko. The Rumours mail are still hotting up. I'm not an ICK, but I have certain information regarding Sesko. According to reports which have been verified and what I know personally, like I said, this is not me being an ICK. This is what I know personally. What I know is that Sesko has already agreed to join us now, but how do I put this thing in a way that the major problem is that RB Leipzig are trying to renew his contract, and the agent is trying to milk the situation. That's what's going on. The player who has given a green light to Arsenal, he wants to come to Arsenal. So why can't Arsenal just trigger the release clause? Yes, Arsenal can trigger it. Even Chelsea, who are lurking around, can trigger it. But Arsenal just want to be respectful to RB Leipzig to have a fair relationship with them. There's no need to rush and sign him. Arsenal not resuming preseason tomorrow, so there's no rush, right? I know there's a deadline, so-called deadline on the release clause, which is June 30th. There's still enough time. There's no need for Arsenal to rush and force the issue. So Arsenal are trying to make sure the deal can go on amicably. The player too is trying to make sure things can go on amicably. RB Leipzig are trying their best to see if there's a chance they can renew his contract so they can get more money in future to get him. And the player's made up his mind. Now, if you ask me personally, based on information I have personally, not on the what we are reading on the internet, this deal will get done. As Benjamin Sesko, I'm 80% sure Benjamin Sesko will be an Arsenal player maximum 2 weeks. Yes. I've had certain information for the last 3 weeks, but I guess I wasn't bold enough to talk about it because I am not too sure. Like I said, I'm not an ITK. I'm just lucky to get certain information from someone that I know. But at the same time, you know how these things be. You can, if you go out, if you come out so forthright and you get it wrong, the small credibility you might have can be just dumped in dumpster. So I decided not to go that hard. I decided to report based on the journalists we all know. But I will take a little bit of a risk on this one. I say in 2 weeks, Benjamin Sesko will be an Arsenal player. I can confirm based on the information I know from someone that told me. Like I said, I'm not an ITK. Is that the player is keen to join us? Because I assured him he will have enough playing time. So the player is keen. The reason why the deal is being delayed is because of his parent club at the moment, RB Leipzig, are trying their ultimate best to renew the contract, which the player is stalling, and the agent is trying to make the situation. Now, I'm not saying the agent is a bad person. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is what people do. If they say a situation to have a bit more money, they will do it. I'm not accusing the agent of anything. I'm just saying he's playing the situation to his advantage, right? RB Leipzig want to get the player. Chelsea are locking on the corner. Arsenal want to get the deal done. So it's going to be a funny dance of Macamba that's going to be going on. But I can assure a lot of Arsenal fans that want the player. Some of you don't want the player. Some of you prefer Osimhen. That's your choice. I like Sesko. I want him to join Arsenal. Even though he's young, even though some of you are saying that he missed certain chances, playing at Arsenal is different from playing for RB Leipzig. We've seen the skill set of Benjamin Sesko. He's a quality player. He reminds me of a young Benzema. Right foot, left foot, headers, pace, dribbling, gal. He has everything to flourish as a top player, even though he's young. So I respect the player. I know the player will give us that killer factor. Guys, some of you are still doubting it, and I get it. Sometimes a player moving from one club to another can actually accentuate your ability. An example is what we are saying from Ishak. The Ishak we saw at Real Sociedad is not the same Ishak we are saying at Newcastle. That's at Newcastle level. Look at the major difference Ishak has had in terms of ability and goal scoring from Real Sociedad to Newcastle. Then I can expect something more better, more similar, more outstanding from Sesko when he joins a team like Arsenal, where you have better quality players than he has as teammates at RB Leipzig compared to Arsenal. So I know that for sure, him joining our team, his skill level, the opportunities, the movement will improve will exponentially move to the next level. I understand if you have your reservations, which is fair. Just like Kai Havertz, a lot of you had your reservations, but after watching Kai Havertz, even at Chelsea, I never believed it was a flop, and I was proven right. So on Sesko, I can assure you he will hit it off at Arsenal. He is not going to sit on the bench. He has been assured you have playing time. You'll be playing with Kai Havertz in some games. Arsenal plays two strikers in certain games. So there is no need for saying that it's going to be sharing with Kai Havertz. Depending on the team you're playing, there will be enough game time for Sesko. And I can tell you from what I know, Benjamin Sesko in 2 weeks max will be an Arsenal player. So that's what I can share on Benjamin Sesko for now. Now, there's another rumor regarding Arsenal considering a move for Benfica midfielder Joao Neves more seriously than Manchester United. Source Ben Jacobs. I'm sorry, I don't really rate Ben Jacobs like that. I'm not saying he's a bad journalist. He gets some right, but most of the time he's always waffling. And for me, let's be real. Arsenal ain't buying no Joao Neves. Arsenal are not spending £120 million release clause on a 19-year-old. Now, he's a good player. No doubt. Joao Neves is a good player. But for that price, for that release clause, I am 200% sure Arsenal will not buy this player. 200%. We are, excuse me, we are not buying this player. No, but he's good, but not that good for that kind of price. Like Chelsea can do just whatever they do. Remember saying Enzo, what has Enzo turned out to be? Remember Joao Felix from Benfica too. So he's a good player, but for that price, I'm sorry, he's not worth it. He's still young. He doesn't have the required experience. I'm not going to consider the Portuguese league the best barometer to measure a quality player because the same, like let me mention, what's the guy from what's his name? What's his name? I think I mentioned him now. The guy that went to Atletico Madrid. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about. Who was on loan at Chelsea? He didn't kick it off. Atletico paid a whooping 100 million pounds like release clause for him. He didn't kick it off. Enzo Fernandez too. He didn't kick it off. So I'm sorry, there is no way Arsenal will be paying that kind of money for a Nigerian. No, I understand that's not like the player. They've looked at him. He's not every player that Arsenal look at we are going to acquire. Let's be sensible for once. I understand the season has ended. A lot of people are tasty for news, but come on, let's be sensible. Let's be sensible. There is no way Arsenal are going to actually spend that kind of money on this player. This is not a Declan Rice level of player. Like he's not. Declan Rice had experience in the league. Declan Rice is worth it. Even I have reservations about some of his qualities, but come on, availability, toughness, experience in the league is on a different level. But for Joao Neves, for me, good player, looks good in the Portuguese league. They've seen so many players that look good in Portuguese league, but when it comes to England, they struggle, and that's not the kind of risk Edu, Richard Garlick, and Arteta are willing to take on this player. Maybe if it was 80 million pounds, maybe Arsenal can take that risk. But for a 120 release clause that Benfica are demanding, I am sorry. I am sorry. I do not believe this rumor. I believe the fact that Arsenal will have looked at him, might be interested, but for that fee, I'm sorry, Arsenal ain't paying that fee. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section regarding the news we've had that I brought to you this evening on Nketiah, Sesko, and Joao Neves. Let me know what you think about these players. And if you have any other things you will want to let me know, leave in the comment section. So, like I said, some of you have told me why am I not bringing more content this period, because there's not so much news to report. I can't come here and be regurgitating when there is no actually tangible news. No, I'm not going to just turn on the camera and continue to regurgitate what you guys already told you guys. If there's something to report, I'll be here to report it. That's just it. I will not be disrespecting my audience by regurgitating news that I didn't know about. See, if there's something to report, if something develops and I want to talk about, I'll come here and report it. Continue to subscribe to the channel. Like the video, very, very important. Subscribe and make sure you turn on your notification bell. For those at the back, let me repeat myself one more time and let me repeat it slowly. Like the video, subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.